Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is an all signs intuitive return to sender reading, exploring the energy of return to sender using the major arcana of the ancient Italian tarot, really beautiful deck, and the minor arcana of the Rider-Waite split into its suits. So I've got the pentacles, the wands, the swords and the cups here. Everything's shuffled. I'm going to pull three major arcana cards. The first card I pull is going to be things as they see them. Okay. What the energy that has reached out or is kind of tickling you, shall we say, how that energy, that individual, that person sees the situation. So that's a kind of personal view from their perspective. The second card I pull from this major arcana deck is going to be the hidden energy. The third card I pull is going to be how the universe sees it, if that doesn't sound too pompous. Okay, I'm just going to try and channel the bigger picture. So that's how it's going to work. Three major arcana cards, and then I'm going to clarify each of those major arcana cards with one from each suit of the Rider-Waite. I have some lovely oracle decks too, so if the reading requires it, I'll pull something from there too. So here we go. Thank you for clicking. Hope you're doing all right with your your energetic intercourse, so to speak. If you've clicked on this return to sender reading, then you're clearly a bit pissed off with someone. So let's have a little look and see what's happening. Okay, one last cut. Right, I'm going to split the deck into three piles this time and do it that way instead of just pulling the top cards that come off the deck. So position one, we have the Sun. Position two, we have the Emperor in the reverse, and position three, we have, oh God, it's so confusing. Yes, the Hanged Man in the reverse. It always stops me in my tracks a little bit, the Hanged Man in the reverse, and then having to turn it around so it looks right on the camera is a little bit confusing. Anyway, there we go. Right, let's put this deck back together again. Okay, well, someone is pleased with themselves. Everything seems clear to them and they're pretty secure in how they see things, which, as I said, is the theme of this first card here. The Sun in the upright is something concluded, something signed and sealed, something resolved, perhaps a reunification, or certainly a unification. I see the couple here in the Sun as the same couple in the Lovers card from earlier on in the deck. I'm just having a quick look through. Yeah, here we are. Okay, this is the card of the young man taking a choice about whether to grow up, to sort of leave his mother and cleave to his wife. And clearly here, that's what's happened. So happy days at the moment for the energy you are here to probe into, so to speak. They are good. Okay, they're good. The hidden energy ain't so good. Emperor in the reverse. There's something slapdash about this. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with this situation energy here. And I mean, I spoke here about sort of conclusions and endings of things, and that, you know, the things sort of turning out this way. And the problem I'm getting off this straight away is that they have, in the light of these two cards, excuse me, is that they have to keep convincing themselves of that. Every time they think about this, they're telling themselves that they're happy with the outcome. They're in a good place, all things considered, i.e. you, okay? They're in a good place and everything is fine. The Emperor in reverse here in the hidden energy is just like, oh God, it's like some mad king, okay? Some sort of prating twit. Like there's the person in charge in this situation, in this reading, dear viewer, dear listener, doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They are careening from one fuck up to another, and they keep coming back to this. They keep coming back to this. There's no authority here. No one's in charge. Okay. Like they're going off there, just impulses. Like I say, like some mad ruler who decides that, you know, they're going to build a palace to the great spaghetti monster in the sky, because they've got a special relationship with the great spaghetti monster in the sky. And so they're going to build some massive, great folly. And of course it doesn't work, but it's always someone else's fault. This is an aspect of the Emperor that I really like. The Emperor owns his shit. All right. He knows where he is. He knows who he is. He knows what he's doing on that throne. He knows it's right and proper and correct that he's on that throne, and he sure knows what to do with that mace. All right. That scepter thing must weigh a bloody ton, because I'm sure it's gold. You know, everything is right, and he's right, and he really is, and everyone acknowledges him as right. He is the master of all he surveys and of his own destiny. On its head. No one's in charge here. Just this kind of roller coaster of, like knee-jerk, ape-like reactions to what they want in the moment of wanting it. There's no order here, so this is just a joke. Okay. The Hanged Man in reverse is a really complex card, so I might yak on about it for a minute. But the Hanged Man is in the upright, which of course shows him upside down. This is, in most cases, a decision on the part of an individual, completely of their own volition, to take themselves out of the race for a little while, step out of the river, step out of the stream, and withdraw for a little while in order to give themselves the space to see things from a different perspective. And, you know, there is an element of kind of punitive iconography about this. I mean, there are easier ways to reconsider something. Okay, so there's an element of sort of punishment here, and as I say, usually it's self-imposed. It's not a kind of punishment by the collective against the individual, usually. So we'll see about that as we go on, but the fact that it's here in the pompously declared how the universe sees it column, the fact that he's here in the reverse, suggests to me that there's no learning going on, and perhaps we might find out a little bit more about why. And there's a sort of, I've got to say, there's a sort of falseness in this energy's conviction that they do this all the time. They're always questioning themselves. They're always trying to see it from the other person's perspective. They're always reconsidering and sort of wondering how they could do it better and, you know, la 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 la. Yeah, right. Sure, sure. And it's not for nothing that there's such power contained in the Emperor. You know, it's the ultimate kind of self, not, I always want to think of this, want to say the word aggrandizing after the word self. But he is grand. He is grand. You know, he was born grand. And, you know, grandeur came to him naturally. And he wields it well. But there, yeah, there's a sort of grandiosity here. Right, let's start pulling some clarifiers. I'm going to open the deck and take one from the Pentacles. Okay. Eight of Pentacles. Listen, they've done this over and over and over again. Over and over again. It's like they did it there, and they did it there, and it, and it, and it, and it, and it, and there's one in the making. You know, this is just what they do. And they're good at it. Again, you know, it's not the Hierophant, it's not the Hermit, it's not even the flipping Devil. All right, other kind of strong, like, figures depicted in the tarot. It's the bloody Emperor. They know what they're doing. Except they don't, because he's on his head. But God Almighty, they work at this. And they're used to this. This is what they do. They've done it many times. They'll probably do it again. And, you know, this is just their pattern. And they're fine with that. They've sort of accepted that, they think. But there's a compulsion here to go on, as I say, reaffirming it, shoring it up. Yeah, I'm good. I said that right at the beginning, didn't I? That they have to keep reminding themselves every time they think any sort of further than, I don't know, the next mad scheme that they're going to do, or kind of reassuring themselves that in their suffering they are actually learning something. They have to keep convincing themselves, like knocking it out. Oh dear. Right, I'll open the deck and pull one from the wands. It doesn't work though. They're not getting anywhere. Five of Wands. Because what they don't realise is that what they are kind of, what they're engaging in when they do this shit, they're engaging with equals, and they don't realise that. They pitch up and they pitch down. They're either engaging with someone who is less than them, or someone who is more than them. And again, Emperor in the reverse here in the hidden energy. You know, the Emperor knows that everyone is less than him, and everyone accepts that. That's just the way it is. You know, the humans need the human tribe needs its leaders. And we're fascinated by it. But here, what we're actually dealing with is five equals. All these lads are the same age. They're probably brothers or cousins or whatever, or the sons of neighbouring landowners or something, like vying for victory here. But they're all the same size, and they're all wielding the same weapon. There are no winners here. It's sort of pathetic, really. And this is part of what they don't see. As I say, they pitch up and they pitch down. And they might even pitch up and then pitch down with the same person. They look up to you and then they like treat you in a kind of denigrating manner. There's no like level playing field. There's no like, and as I'm saying this, I'm kind of miming it, but I'm off camera, seeing eye to eye. There's no seeing eye to eye. So sorry about that. And they don't see that every person they deal with and them are all the same. We're all the same, and we're all subject to the same kind of pressures. We're all subject to the same kind of moral, spiritual, legal, certainly, obligations and duties. But they've got themselves in some different, some different category, where they are either a lesser figure to you or a superior figure to you. There's no level playing field. I mean, you know, that's what the Five of Wands is about, right? That's a bit of a kind of complex interpretation, but that's what I'm seeing in this card today, in this reading. I'll open the swords. Ten of Swords. Ah, there they are, absolutely flipping knackered. They're knackered with this, right? They tell themselves this story like day in, day out. Like I said, Eight of Pentacles. They work on it. They work on it. They are absolutely shattered. They've talked it all out with themselves and perhaps with other people. They've gone on and on and on thinking about it, and it's just... But I'm getting an energy off this today. And if I did take reversals in this, it would have been interesting, because I don't take reversals in this minor arcana section. It would have been interesting to see if this had come out in reverse, because there's a sort of, I'm getting a sort of zombie energy off this, because there's something undead about this figure in this reading, in this column. It's like any second now that figure's going to get up and go stumbling around with all them flipping swords in their back. They're really burdened, really, really burdened, which is why they have to work so hard, and which is why this sort of chaotic energy is here. It's like what they're carrying is too heavy, and they're careening around all over the place under the weight of it. Oh, I feel a bit sorry for them, even though they are a massive twit. Oh dear, oh dear. I guess that's part of what keeps us like connected with people, isn't it? We just feel sorry for them for being under the sort of emotional circumstance, psychological circumstances where they just continuously act like a massive twit. Right, I've opened the deck and pulled one from the cups. Yeah, Eight of Cups. They walk away over and over and over again. Over and over and over again, but they come back. They come back because they're convinced that over that hill is the sun. And they're in this weird sort of netherworld. We've got an eclipse depicted here. I don't know if you can see that. All right, they're both there. So they're in this really strange sort of day is night and night is day. And is it dark? Is it the dawn or is it the dusk? And that's a very good question to ask about this. The Ten of Swords here. Is that light out there? Is it the start or the end of something? Oh, flipping it. And yeah, this is sort of how they feel. They're like heroically going off, like to quest in pastures new. They're fine. They've walked away. All good. They're good with this. They really, 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 really are good with this. This is puzzling me a bit. I might come back to this later. Oh, man. What a silly Billy. So anyway, that's where they're at. That's where they're at. They've got internal struggle going on about value and about capacity. That's what the Wands is about. Like who... I don't know, yeah, who has dealt the last blow? They're convinced it's them, and yet they're lying here like this. Like, who won? Oh, dear. And they just abandon and abandon and abandon and walk away. That's the solution to everything for them, because, as I said, on the other side of that hill is the sun, in their mind. Right, let's get a little bit more on this Emperor in the reverse. Let's open the Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Oh, there's a pomposity in this for me today. There's a sort of... No, well, hold on, because we're not talking about them anymore. That's this column. We're talking about the hidden energy. Something has been wrongly dispensed. Okay, because this isn't simply generosity. All right, there's more to it, this Six of Pentacles, because we've got two figures here, two beggars, but only one of them is genuine. Only one of them is genuine. And the reason I say that is because this one has a little tear just there. And what we can peep through that rip is a red robe, just like him. This is someone playing poor, okay? Playing themselves down in order to get something for nothing. And I mean, that, I guess, is the nature of generosity, which is the sort of accepted, you know, common or garden interpretation of this card. You know, generosity is the giving of something for nothing. So there's something, there's a transactional quality to this, and the matter of deserving or not. Let's keep going. Very interesting. Let's see what transpires. Okay, let's pull one from the Wands. Two of Wands. Well, I sound like a sugar-coated tarot reader now, but this is going to change. This whole thing's going to change, and it's going to kind of change. It's going to turn on a sixpence. Or yeah, no, I'm going to stick with that. I mean, if I'd had this over here, the Two of Wands, I would have said, you know, this is someone who's constantly changing certainly the internal landscape for themselves in order to avoid, I don't know, scrutiny, authority, having to sort of like follow through on stuff, or I don't know. But I really do feel in this hidden energy column that there's sort of shifting sands and shifting like perspectives here. Because we've got this big landscape laid out in front of this dude, but he's just staring at this little globe. And it's like little view, big view, little view, big view type thing. And at what point does action actually get taken here in this card? I suppose that says the Three of Wands, but I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find the Three of Wands. No, I'll leave that because I don't want to disturb the packs. But this wand here, which was of course the Ace, and has now doubled to the Two. So there's proliferation of action here, like worldly action, or certainly the desire for it, or the awareness of the possibility of it, or sort of thinking it would be a good idea. But one of these ones is still bolted to the wall. So is that one coming with him? Or is he just going to strike out with that one? What's being left behind? What's being sort of, you know, if he takes this one as well and sets off with the Two Wands, he's burnt the bridges, you see. So there's a kind of insurance policy going on here. And yet it's here in the hidden energy. And that suggests to me that it's not secure. It's not secure. And, I mean, so I'm just going to come straight back to it and say this Six of Pentacles, you know, someone's cheating. Someone's cheating about who deserves what. And whether what's gone on is sort of deserved and just and balanced. You see here the merchant, you know, giving the money away. He's got the scales here. So yeah, he's being generous, but only up to a point. Let's keep going because it's very complex, especially with this Emperor in reverse as the main energy of this hidden energy column. This is very complex. This person has deep rooted sort of doubts about whether they deserve to be in a position of authority in their own life or not, or whether there's someone else in charge. And as a result, like the extent of those doubts have destabilized things to the point where you know, the whole matter of self-possession, self-direction, self-actualization, if you like. Yeah, the whole matter of that is on its flipping head. And it's to do with the fear of like attempting to make progress in the world, and a sense of doubt around that of which they are deserving. And that, you know, that could equally be a doubt in a kind of downward. I'm getting this up down thing again, looking up, looking down. It could equally be, oh, you know, I'm so shit, I don't deserve to be happy, or I don't, you know, I don't deserve it. Or it could be, I'm really, really special and I deserve a lot more than what I've got. I'm getting more of that off it, but there's this fear, as I say, this hesitancy for some reason. Something's bolted, and while the desire for movement and exploration and development and growth might be there, it's not being acted on, and it's rooted in this. I mean, when you have a clear and sort of stable sense of being in charge of yourself, okay, where you can like discipline yourself, motivate yourself, organize yourself, where your executive function basically is in good shape, you don't wonder about what you deserve and what you don't deserve, and who deserves what, and this one didn't deserve that, and you deserve more, and blah, blah, blah. Those issues are kind of like peripheral, because, you know, life dishes up what it dishes up and you manage it. End of. That's it. That's it. And you don't like ruminate about this stuff. It's ruminatory. Right, let's pull one from the swords. And you can only get to that position of like self-authority, authority in your own life, when you dug through a certain amount of the gunk swilling around in your sacral chakra. Never mind the root chakra. You know, that's about eating and that. But, you know, the sacral chakra, all that deep emotional stuff. Yeah, they're working really hard. But this stuff is like dragging them. This is what's fueling this kind of... I mean, I was laughing like, yeah, I ain't laughing now. I'm not laughing now. Eight of Swords. No, I'm really not laughing now. It's just anxiety, dragging and dragging and dragging, and keeping them in this really uncomfortable position. And I get the feeling like they go from the 8 to the 10 to the 8 to the 10, because they can't stop themselves. But all the movement here, we've got this stupid little closed circuit of power struggles here, and who's bigger and stronger and who's weaker and who's in charge. Again, Emperor in reverse, who's in charge. So we've got action there. We've got just walking away there. We're stuck here and we're stuck here. And it just goes round and round and round. There's no movement. It's stagnant. So far, the most important card I've got in the reading is this Six of Pentacles, because this really tells me about something about what this, what it's about. So yeah, the eight of swords there. This just anxiety and and painful rumination and feeling like imprisoned. But it's just a feeling. It's only a feeling. Right. Oh God, it's not pretty. But somehow the combination of the Six of Pentacles and the Emperor in reverse, this is the key to it. This is the key to it. And I feel almost it's this Six of Pentacles that is like the underlying energy of this. But of course, in this reading, it's the Emperor in reverse. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. But yeah, mental prison here, self-sustaining, self-locked in. I'll tell you. I mean, maybe this is something to do with it. The best way I have found in life to live in a mental prison is to blame other people for you. To blame other people for what you're like, blame other people for what you say, blame other people for what you do, blame other people for the decisions you make. And when I say that, and I'm back to the Emperor, you know, the ultimate decision maker. That's how to keep yourself in a mental prison. And your jailer in that situation are the people you blame. And a lot of us have like a few like deep down like bugbear people who are just like permanently demonized in our mind. And that, when things go wrong, our mind at some point goes back to those individuals and says, if they'd done this, that and the other, this would never have happened. If they hadn't been like blah, 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 this would never have happened. I'm not happy because of them. So they're your jailer. And those we blame own us. They own us because we keep coming back to them every time we're unhappy about something. We render ourselves, locked up and impotent and powerless. It's terrible. So, the only way out of that jail is to own your shit. And I said something about that with the Emperor. He owns his shit and he knows it. It's his shit and he owns it. He's not sitting there blaming, I don't know, whoever. I'm not going to be too mocking about that because it is also quite serious. But that is the way out of that prison. Own your shit. It's really hard, but by God, it's liberating. So yeah, this is really like painful stuckness, painful stagnation. God, Possard, whoever they are. Doesn't mean you have to go back to people just because you understand and forgive them. Don't mean you ever have to do anything, have anything to do with them again. You can know everything about how a venomous snake kills you. You can know all the facts about the chemical formula of the toxin and how the fangs work and the circumstances under which the snake is more or less likely to bite and blah, 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 blah. You can know all of that and it will never be safe to put your hand in the basket. Just saying. Right, let's get one from the cups. For some reason, it's making me Four of Cups. This came up here in a reading very recently in this position. I mean, different reading, obviously. I think that's perhaps why, and I haven't done this with any of the other times that I've opened the suit packs and taken one for. I did happen to glance at what was on the other side of this, and it was this. The Ace of Cups. As one of my favourite readers says, the most love I can pull from the tarot. There it is. Or perhaps that's the Queen of Cups. I'm not sure. But this is something to do with first love. Okay? This is something to do with first love. And I don't usually say that about the Ace of Cups. Definitely something to do with first love. Do you know what? I'm going to cut that pack again, like blind, because I've seen into it too much to be able to read it like freshly. Oh man. There's a really like sad outcome here for this person. And this is what's tugging at them. And this is why you're watching a return to sender video instead of on YouTube, instead of being out with this person having a nice time, or at home with this person having a nice time. Because they're like, this keeps on like dragging them and dragging at them and dragging at them. And to the point where they just want to walk away. And when they're offered it, they don't flipping want it. They don't want that Ace of Cups. But this has Hanged Man energy for me. So we're going to come over to this now. But, oh man, yeah, they don't feel like they deserve it. They don't, but they really want it. And I mean, who wouldn't? You know, everyone wants love. It's just sort of how we see it, what it means to us, which bit of us it is like tweaking, you know, is pretty primal stuff. We all want it, but there's a sense here of not deserving it, and that brings me back to the Six of Cups. The Emperor in reverse here, maybe there's a sense of having done something wrong. This is something also to do, it just strikes me, with abuse of power. There's been an abuse of power, and it's led to this this consideration of fairness and unfairness, and deserving and undeservingness. And we've got it here as well, this undeservingness, and they're just stuck. They can't grow, and they're in the prison of blame. But you see, the thing is, when these things are not, you know, if they're abuse of power, or any sort of abuse, or any like harsh or like unjustified treatment of one to another, or perhaps even one group to another. Oh, I can't remember where I was going with that. I mean, it's never nice, is it? No, this is where I was going. If you invest in the sense of being a victim, you're going to have real problems working out sort of just and fair allotment of resources. You're going to be blocked from, it's going to be very, very confusing about whether you deserve to be happy or not. And you're going to, it's this thing about being invested in being a victim of an abuse of power. You're always going to feel like it's not enough, you haven't got enough, and you've been hard done by. That's going to block you. That's going to keep you in the prison of basically outsourcing responsibility for yourself, your life, your actions and your decisions and their consequences, outsourcing it to someone else. And funny enough, it's the same person who committed the abuse of power. And that's going to leave you in a position where you are not able or willing to engage emotionally with this Ace of Cups that was next in this deck. And there it is, you know, coming out of nowhere, like love does. It just pops out of nowhere, doesn't it? Pops onto your screen. But until you really, really address this, and in order to do that, you have to place responsibility where it lies. And responsibility for abuse lies with the abuser. Absolutely no question of that. But then you have to move beyond the whole victim thing, or you just get caught up in this horrible thing of having to keep convincing yourself of something, being really uncertain about your power, being absolutely exhausted and feeling like you just want to walk away from everything. You have to move beyond victimhood in order to really, really heal from abuse. I didn't think this reading was going to be about abuse of power, but it is. And you have to see that beyond a certain point, and for me, I put it at the basic age of the accepted age of responsibility, adulthood, 18. Anything beyond that is ultimately on me. When you're a child, you can't help it. You know, we've all got the fate we've got. We're born into the settings we're born into, and there's nothing you can do about that. You've got to suck that up. But what you can do is, looking at your adult life and your decisions, is own them, because then you get out of that mental prison, and then you can grow, like really grow. Yeah, not like Hangman in the flipping reverse. You can really grow. And you can get beyond this cycle of walking away. I know the sun is on the other side of the thing, and then just going through the same thing over and over again, because this core issue of abuse of power here is not addressed. Flipping out, I promise I didn't think this reading was going to go like this. Let's clarify the Hangman in the reverse. One from the Pentacles. Well, as I said, this is how the universe sees it. Right, this person who you've clicked on for this return to sender video is actually beyond all this like silly and sad stuff here. They and you and everyone else in the universe are actually fine. This is stability, this is security, this is really enjoying the fruits of your actions and the fruits of your efforts, your labours, which brings me back to the 8 over here. Oh, 8 and 40. No, okay. Sorry, I was just doing some really basic maths in my head. I'm not good at it. This is enjoying the fruits of your investments and your wise decisions. And, you know, we're good here. We're good. We've got everything we need. And everything that we need to have is there. And there's nothing extraneous here. You know, there's a giant load of pentacles there. And a bird of prey, a hawk. Look at that. She's a hawker. And as I understand it, there is quite a thing about women and birds of prey. I went to a bird of prey centre for a birthday experience, like flying birds of prey. It was really, really interesting. The majority of the staff there were women. So this is a lovely representation, this hawk, of the capacity to go out and sort of look around and explore things, very contrary to this 2 of Pentacles here. You can go out and you can explore because you've got a secure base. All right, for the hawk, the secure base is the gauntlet. And for the lady here, this is her estates. She is on her own lands. And the harvest is good, and she's got everything she needs. Okay, that's just what I'm getting from that card. Let's see how it links up with the rest of them as I continue. Right, one from the Wands now. Well, another 9. 9 of Wands, sort of defensiveness and feeling of vulnerability. I mean, I don't know about you. This is one of these like stupid rhetorical phrases. I don't know about you, but I can't see any threat there at all. There's no threat there. There's no like armies, like legions of like enemy troops, like yomping over those mountains towards him. I think this is going to be a little bit difficult to interpret, and I mustn't forget to come back to this Hanged Man in reverse. How the universe sees it. This is sort of fear. And yeah, fences, walls, unnecessary defences. And this is sort of PTSD. Okay. I'm not laughing about PTSD, and I'm not laughing about CPTSD either. It's serious business. But what I'm mostly getting off this Nine of Wands so far in this here today is this the lack of necessity for all this defensiveness. And it just strikes me that this is perhaps even a message for this reading, okay, or for me or for you or whatever, which is that this is like return to sender energy. It's like, you know, no, you don't, you know. And again, it's unnecessary. And Hanged Man in the reverse, all this kind of worry and concern about these things, and we see that worry and concern here in the Ten of Swords. There's evidence of someone taking a decision off the back of some like worry or concern, because they're walking away from flipping 8 cups, man, and coming back round. They think the 9 of cups is, it would be funny if I got it, wouldn't it, is on the other side of the hill. So there's worry and concern here. There's definitely worry and concern here. There's kind of paralysis here, and a kind of a sort of gut-driven refusal to take the cup. And I mean, you know, the Hanged Man isn't necessarily a card of worry or concern, but it is a card of reflection. And reflection sort of in the context of some sort of painful or traumatic experience, perhaps self-induced. And I talked about that at the beginning, whether he's put himself there or whether he's been strung up there to have a flipping word with himself by the other inhabitants of the village or whatever. But it's on its head. So this sort of endless like appraisal, reappraisal, reflection, re-reflection. We've got everything we need. 9 of Pentacles here. This is not necessary. It's not necessary. And it all roots back to this abuse of power here in the Emperor in reverse, here in the hidden energy. And it's not even a matter, I don't think, we'll see, we've got another 2 cards to go and perhaps some oracles, but I don't think this is about anything to do with sort of just like righteous anger about this. It's simply about seeing things for what they are. That's it. And that's what the hawk does. The hawk sees it, sees things for what they are. That's a rock. That's a mouse. I'm going for that one. You know, there's this sort of clarity of vision that is really missing from here, apart from the opening card of things as they see them. But it doesn't last, as we saw it. It's straight away. It's just like down, 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 you know. I mean, right down to here and here. It's just like, oh, dear. Right, let's pull one from the swords. Oh, this is my last opening of the deck. I just want to really get it just right. It's not that one. Okay. There we go. Oh. Right, well, I did want to get it just right, didn't I? Ace of Swords. What did I say? Clarity of vision. All right? Clarity of inner talk. And I don't mean just like self-talk, you're this, you're that, but there's plenty of that going on over here. It's more about how we experience thoughts. You know, some people experience them visually. You know, there's often a sort of sonic element to them. And I was looking yesterday, I think, at an interesting article about the idea that language creates consciousness. Very interesting. But then I think there's a slight difference between consciousness. Well, there is a difference between like pure consciousness and thought within consciousness. But even if our primary sort of thinking style is visual, we're still going to be able to describe it at some point. You know, words. This is what the swords are, words and thoughts, okay? Mental and verbal phenomena, mental and verbal karma, karma meaning action. Everything that needs to be known is there. Everything is there. All the facts are there. It's a question of shifting the perspective for this person in order to look this straight in the face, and that will be in the mirror. All right, when you're really in control of yourself and you look in the mirror, you don't look up and you don't look down. And I'm not talking about the direction of your eyes. You're not looking at yourself going, God, fucking brilliant, and you're not looking at yourself going, Christ, what a piece of shit. You know what you're looking at. You know what you're looking at. But when this isn't addressed, it throws everything out of whack, but all the information, all the data is there. It's about shifting perspective. And I've got a feeling this final cup card is gonna really clinch it, because we can't employ this in matters as entrenched as this. Okay, it's entrenched in the Two of Wands with that one bolted to the wall. It's entrenched as a like repeated habit. This is a habit. This is a habit. This is a habit. It's stuck. And we don't like shift focus so that all the data that is actually laid right out for us, and this hawk can see it, right? Huge detail about what he's looking at there. Huge detail. We don't make that shift in perspective until we are emotionally ready to do so. And I mean, how many times is this person going to go round and round the mountain again and again and again? And basically, when the Ace of Cups, the real love is offered, they're like, no, or that, you know, it's just not engaged with. Because they did it here and it didn't work, and they did it here and it didn't work, and they did it here and it didn't work, with these three like abandoned or put to one side cups, and another one's going, no. How many times are they going to go through this before they're ready to shift perspective? And we're not going to find out how many times. It's a rhetorical question. Right, that's the one. Oh, flipping heck. Oh, Queen of Cups. I told you it was gonna clinch it. It's the mother. It's the mother. This is maternal. This is a maternal thing. Look at the utter love with which she is regarding that. It's a strange one because it looks like some mad robot, doesn't it? And she's there on the you know, on the shores of the great ocean of the heart. And it's kind of like everything is kind of spilling out of her. It's like oceanic love. The oceanic non-separation of the infant and the mother. And you can't even call it non-separation at that point, certainly not from the infant's point of view. But from the mother's point of view, of course, the infant is a separate individual. But the infant, even when they're looking, even when they've got eye contact and they've started to recognise people, and kind of shy away from strangers, or just like look at them or cry or something, but recognise the mother. Even when they're at that stage, it's still oceanic for them. And so it's not, it's not even from their perspective anything to do with separation. I mean, there is nothing else than non-separation. So even that doesn't exist because it's the only thing. And when it's the only thing, it kind of doesn't exist because it can't exist in relation to anything else. It's not interdependent with the existence of anything else. There's a totality about it, and that's why it's oceanic. It's like universal. Universal. This is something to do with the mother. I'm going to pull an oracle card. They're so, 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 so powerful. Oh, my word. What oracle shall I pull? Depends what we're looking for. What are we looking for now? I don't know, perhaps a reason to return to sender? Because, even if this person's basically got mother issues and is hung up, as I say, that's why you're here looking at a return to sender reading and not out in the park feeding the ducks, having a nice time together. Or like planning your wedding or something. So I guess maybe what we're looking for now to finish this off is a sort of philosophical, a little slice of something philosophical to, more, they say more philosophy from Sugar Free. Sugar Free, amateur philosopher par excellence. All right, I'm pulling one, dear viewer, dear listener, from the Buddhist prayer deck. Okay, amateur philosopher and Buddhist. Right, let's pull one. I'm just going to open it completely at random. Ta-da! Right, and we're going to take that one. All right, hold on a sec. Let's have a look. Right. When the lamp of the Buddha's mind illuminates sentient beings, eons of darkness are immediately dispelled. And that was said, that is part of the Avatamsaka Sutra, 2nd and 3rd century AD. So where are we now? How many thousand years ago is that? I can't work it out. It's a flipping long time ago anyway. When the lamp of the Buddha's mind illuminates sentient beings, eons of darkness are immediately dispelled. So this whole thing for this person can be gone like that, in a flash of insight. Okay, so it's the lamp of the Buddha's mind. And, we are exposed to the light from the lamp of the Buddha's mind through the Dharma and through, Buddhist texts, Buddhist teachings, studying that, and also through our own experience on the cushion, like actually engaging with Buddhist practices. So, okay, you either do that stuff or you don't. But where my mind is going on this is that the key thing, the Shakti, the power of the light that emits from the lamp of the Buddha's mind, the Shakti of it, what makes it move, what makes it emanate, what makes it shine is compassion. compassion for all sentient beings. And that brings me back to this Five of Wands here, because this was when I started talking about this person looking up or looking down. And I talked about looking yourself in the eye when you're in control of yourself. And you do see eye to eye. You're not admiring yourself and you're not denigrating yourself. And it's that sort of equanimity of compassion. And I mean, compassion isn't, in my experience, on the cushion, like daily for a decade now. Compassion isn't only about like feeling for people, feeling compassion for people, and like caring about people, and sort of feeling sad that people are suffering, and that it's not just about that. There's another quality to it too that is kind of integral, but isn't so much about how one feels. There is a great equality in compassion, in true compassion, because it's so easy to feel compassionate to people who we see as less fortunate than ourselves. Right? How about looking up the food chain and feeling compassion for people who appear to be like superior to ourselves? Because that, you know, they suffer too. It doesn't matter how high or low one considers oneself to be, or, you know, how high or low one considers another to be. There is utter equality in the matter of the aspects of suffering in the human condition, in the human experience. There's total equality in that. You know, obviously, the more money you've got, the more like readily you can distract yourself from your sufferings, or sort of like try and buy solutions to it. I mean, you know, there isn't a solution you can buy to the fundamental underpinning suffering of humans. You can't buy a solution for that. You can only earn it on the cushion. But this is something about, this is a story about power. And this person, and the reason, as I said, that this is a return to sender reading, and you're not just like happily ever after with them, walking off into the sunset, oh happy day. The reason for that is because they are fundamentally confused about their worthiness, and whether or not they deserve and are able to give love. Because somewhere down in the roots of them, okay, I did say this was mother stuff, somewhere down in the roots of them, something to do with power is on its head. So perhaps the key for us is, I mean, one can return something to sender without being angry. I'm going to leave it there, because otherwise I shall just go on and on. So I hope this has been helpful, interesting, perhaps a little bit entertaining. You never know. And thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.